Welcome to yet another video. Are you still writing the Java in the old way? Are you ready to level up your Java skills? Friends, Java 23 is here and it is packed with the game-changing features from pattern matching to virtual threads, from structured concurrency to string templates and many more features that will not only make your code run faster, cleaner, but even more powerful than ever before. Now get ready with Java 23. You are about to rewrite those rules, so stick around as we deep dive into Java 23's most exciting features and updates, and I will also show you how you can use them in your projects from today itself. So this video is for the people who want to migrate from or upgrade to Java 23, whether you are preparing for an interview, understanding the new features, your easy to understand video and the segments. So it doesn't matter whether you are a seasoned developer, whether you are just starting out, this video is equipped with full knowledge that you need to master Java 23. So stay around, stick around, we'll deep dive into it. So Java 23 is not a long-term support release. Basically it has got significant enhancement and previews. So that is what majorly we have to look into, right? So we'll discuss one by one all the features here. The very first thing is about pattern matching for a switch. This is JEP 441. Now pattern matching, that is not only simplifies your switch case statement. So this is basically a feature which will be more concise and more readable to work with the conditional logics basically. Now by using them, what is the benefit? We are going to reduce the boilerplate code, we are going to improve the readability, we are going to enhance the maintainability, which is one of the key features of Java, right? So traditionally we used to use this particular with Java switch, and then we used to use that. So now if you see the switch case, the string is to there, now integer is there, now the default is there, now output is 14, right? So that's what the enhancement what we have to with the help of the pattern matching with respect to the switch case. Virtual threads. Now Java 23, it has got is going to continue to improve the virtual threads. Now this was introduced in Java 19 basically, which was a significantly reduced the overhead of creating and managing the threads. Now by using this particular virtual thread, what is the benefit? The virtual threads are very lightweight and actually it can scale with a minimal memory overhead, right? So that's the benefit. Now it is going to simplify your concurrency in your Java program, so it is easy to write and scale your application. So that's the benefit. Now if you look at it, this particular the variable argument executor, and then we have a new virtual thread executor, and then you're going to submit a task inside it. So that's how we may going to make use of it and make use of the virtual thread capability. Now string templates, now this is going to simplify your and not only it'll enhance your string interpolation, it is going to make it easier and more readable. So this is a powerful alternative to string concatenation, or if you are using string formats, right? So this is a replacement for it. So it will introduce your template processor that will handle the interpolation logic. So the processor which can be customized for a different interpolation behavior, we can use this like simply substitution, we want to secure your SQL generation, etc. So if you see here in the code, if you see there is a string name and the age. Now with the help of this string simple template processor, that is str, we are going to replace that, right? So if you see here, the output would be the inclusion of that particular name and the age. Now we have separated with the in the string message, if you look it out, we have that particular with the curly braces, and then we have a forward slash before, backward slash before that. So that is going to replace it. Now you can also create a custom template processor, that is let's say you are using an SQL query, right? So we can make use of a template processor, we can assign a string as a type, and then we can create it, right? So under that you can actually make use of this particular and get that particular string value from there, right? So that's how we can get that, right? So now in this also, if you see here, there is a similar to what we have seen in the last slide, where we have that particular replace. Now what is the advantage of using it? It is going to definitely improve your readability, It is definitely going to increase your maintainability. Now this has got an enhanced feature security which will allow you to not only create a custom processor which is going to handle your input sanitization, right? So this is quite flexible to to define certain different interpolation behavior. So it's very useful. Now structured concurrency, this is one of the important feature when it comes to concurrency programming. Now you can actually group related tasks as a single unit of work. So this is going to promote your clarity and reduce the risk of errors in your complex concurrent application. So they basically it is going to introduce a structured task scope, which is a class which will allow not only the developer to create a structured task with a clear life cycle, and also it is going to handle the errors. Now if you look at the code, right, so if you see here, we have a try with the resource where we have created with the new structured task scope, and we have called the method as shutdown on failure. Now if you see, we have written a structure, a future task over here, where we have that particular scope under that, and then we are going to fork that particular to fetch that user, fetch that order, and then ultimately we are going to fetch that join to both this particular fork. Ultimately after that we are going to check if there is any propagation errors, right? Then we are going to do that. After that it is going to everything is going fine, then we are going to print it, right? So that's how we are going to use it. And then in the fetch user, if you see, the logic is written of sleeping that particular thread for a 100 milliseconds, and then after that you are going to return that particular thing. Now in that particular fetch order, we are going to sleep for 150 milliseconds, and then we are going to return it, right? So the what is the benefit of using this particular thing is that it is going to handle your error in a simplified way in a concurrent application. It is going to improve your readability and maintainability. Now there is a reduce of risk leak, right? A resources leak basically, and there are no dangling threads basically. Now implicit declared classes and the instance main method. So basically, now this is going to simplify your learning curve for as if you are a new Java developer and you're allowing them to write certain simple program without a need to explicitly declaring, and then you have a static main method, right? So this is the one of the top level statements and the instances method in the source file, right? So you can write this in similar way. So these are the system dot println, and we can write, or you can write void main then system order. So what is the benefit of using this is that you're going to reduce the boilerplate code where we have to write that every time, even for the simple programs. Yeah, we have an easier entry point for a new Java learner, right? So there is no restriction to it. You can actually have a faster prototype. Let's say you want to test something and you want to easily test it, right, without writing anything much code, right? You can do that with this vector API. Now this is one of the uh, write high performance code which is going to be leverage your vector instruction that is available in your modern CPU. Now what happens is that it provides you a set of classes and the methods which are going to represent operate on a vector of a primitive types basically. Okay, now if you see here, there is a float vector. Now if you see, there is a species preferred over here, right? So now if you see here, this is going to be used in the code. If you see, now we have written a vector multiply method over here, and then we have written a new float with the length of that, and then we have an upper bound. So species dot loop bound we have called it with the length. Now after that, in the for loop, what we are taking up is that we have taken up the upper bound, and then we have the species length, and then after that we are going to take up those particular float vector. We are taking the species and then the a and b values inside that, and then we are going to perform the operation over here. Now what is the benefit of this is that significantly it is going to improve your data intensive in your application. It is going to leverage your hardware vector instruction. Now it is going to improve your efficiency for the task, like if you are doing image processing, scientific computing, if you are doing machine learning, etc. So this is what helpful with the vector API. Now foreign function and the memory API. So this is one of the API which will allow the programs to interact with the code data outside the Java runtime. We have such native libraries in the memory regions, right? So we use it. Now this is one of the unified way to access the foreign memory, and also call the foreign function. So what is the benefit? It is going to improve your interoperability with the native codes we are going to write, efficient access to the op memory, that is the heap memory. We're going to improve your performance for the tasks that are going to require your native code integration. So that's the benefit of it. I hope this video was helpful to you, and I was able to highlight what are the new features of Java 23 and how you can make use of them inside your day-to-day activities. If this video was helpful, please share it with the needy people. Also, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon. Thank you for watching.